Good morning. How is everyone? Closing tabs before we start. I'm gonna try to share a screen today. Let's see if I can do it. Wish me luck. Can everyone hear me okay? Anyone want to give me a hands? High five sign? Real good? You guys can hear me? Got my hair in place. I see eyes. You can see me, huh? Let's see what time, 10:02. All right, let's start. Last week, I talked about weight management, and I talked about some of the important tests that I do when I'm trying to determine if a patient may be having any roadblocks to achieving their weight loss goals. And one of those tests that I mentioned was genetic testing. Now, testing genes does not mean you are destined to express whatever the test says. It tells you what your body is predisposed to doing. Excuse me. It's important to note that not all the elements, it's important to note that all the elements that go into achieving weight loss are still in place, right? We need to have healthy eating habits. We need to have appropriate exercise, type, quantity, all that type of stuff. We need to be sleeping well. We need to be de-stressing. All of that is still important. The genetic testing kind of just helps fine tune what's right for each patient. Genetic testing for weight management is really kind of a new science. It's kind of becoming under the head of nutrigenomics or exercise genomics. It's slightly different than looking at your gene expression for, let's say, the color of your eyes. When we're looking at the gene expression for your color of your eyes, we're looking at the allele that your mother gave you and the allele that your father gave you, and whether those are dominant or recessive, that's going to determine what your eye color is. What we're looking at with the nutrigenomics or exercise genomics is what are those single nucleotide polymorphisms or SNPs. Those are your DNA variations. So it's not, it's more of a risk assessment. It's not a diagnostic. It's not diagnostic. It's just, what are you predisposed to? What's your risk like? This information allows patients to kind of come up with a weight loss plan that I think will help them overcome their possible predispositions, but it's not set in stone. There are a few companies that do it, and this is what I'm going to try to attempt to share my screen. Yes, I want to share it. Here we go. Let's share. Can you guys see that okay? Of course, now I can't see you guys telling me that you can see it okay. Let me move this over here. It's all new. Yes, we can see it. Thank you, Heidi. Okay, so let's put that over here. So different companies are doing this. This is a company called Labrix. They are only looking at 5 of the genetic markers. But for instance, let's take this first one, FTO. This is a genetic marker that looks at your metabolism and your satiation. This sample patient is, they carry that genetic marker, so they are at risk for expressing it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will express it. But knowing this information, and if this was my patient, I could say, okay, your metabolism might be a little bit slower. Your resting metabolism might be slower. You might feel less satiated when you eat. So what are some of the things that we can do to help you if you are predisposed to that? Well, we can give you lots of fiber. Fiber is going to make you feel satiated. Make sure that you're well hydrated, drink some water before you eat or something like that. Let's make sure that we get enough protein in your diet. Maybe you're someone who needs to, maybe we're going to give you small frequent meals so that you feel satiated. You're not going with periods with low blood sugar. To increase your metabolism, maybe we're going to kick up the exercise. We're going to eat more protein, build more muscles, because that increases your metabolism. Maybe this is someone that I'm going to really regulate their portion control. So you can see, like, just knowing this one kind of genetic marker can really kind of guide me to what would be best for this person. This person would probably not do well on like a Whole30 diet, right? They're gonna probably feel less satiated. Who knows? Might not. This is a company called Genetic Direction. I like to use them just because their report is 72 pages long. It's a lot more information. It's a lot more patient friendly. What they do is they are looking under categories, and they're rating you on those categories. So how many of those genes do you express in those categories? And so the first category would be weight loss. What's your metabolism, your weight loss tendency, your tendency to regain weight, how well do you feel satiated, that type of stuff. How do you utilize your macronutrients, protein, fat, carbs, etc.? Do you have food preferences? I think that's kind of less important. I think people know if they have a sweet tooth or not. What is their micronutrient? Do they have a tendency to be deficient in some micronutrients? This is important because that would guide towards, someone's vitamin A tendencies to be low, like let's add more carrots and that type of stuff to your diet. And knowing that all of these vitamins are the ones that help fat metabolism, utilizing protein, that type of stuff. And then how do you respond to exercise? And so when I say that it is very patient-friendly, for instance, the first one, metabolism, there's 3 genetic S&Ps that they're looking for, and this person's below average. So their resting metabolism is lower. And so under each one of those genes, they go into what it means, what are the genes that they're testing, and what are things you can do. So if this person, their resting metabolism rate might be below average, we need to do things to increase their resting metabolism rate. So one thing would be to increase their strength training. Strength training will be something where muscle burns more than fat, so that will kind of help change that needle. It may be something, and I also they have this whole section on success strategies. So they talk about all the things that you can do to improve. Move at the top of every hour. I'll try to highlight those. Move at the top of every hour. So getting up more, don't be sitting down. And a lot of their stuff is based in research that they have found. For instance, they will say, I think over here, people who have a stand-up desk actually only burn 8 more calories an hour, but they have better blood sugar control and their overall metabolic health seems to be improved. They will talk about nutrition and physical activity. Getting up, doing at least 30 minutes a day. Maybe you do that in 5-minute chunks, but you're doing more like quick aerobic, like sprints. Build a stronger motor, meaning build more muscle, because muscle burns more fat. Keep the engine fueled. Don't starve yourself. Increase your protein intake. Eat only active foods, right? We don't want to waste calories on crap. De-stress. Respect your sleep, all that type of stuff. So I like that they also give like a plan of attack, and they make it very patient friendly. They talk about how you can find your basal metabolic rate. It's important to note that part of what determines our basal metabolic rate, so how many calories you burn a day to stay looking how you look now without exercise, would be part of it is reflective of your age. So as we age, our basal metabolic rate goes down. So I like genetic direction. It looks at all of these and then really kind of explains in more detail for patients what they can do to be more successful. Your phenotype, which is your physical manifestation of your genotype, doesn't have to always follow your genotype. Not all genetic variations are manifested. And how your genotype is expressed is also going to be affected by your lifestyle, by the environment, that type of stuff. So this is looking, all of this is looking at your potential response. And thus, it's not a test that I think is actually important. I don't think it's needed for you to be successful at weight loss or weight management. Do I think it's interesting? Absolutely. I think that it provides a nice blueprint. And for some people, that is something that they want. That blueprint gives them the foundation to where to start from. What are their portions going to look at? What are their macronutrients, the percentages? What would be a good place to start from? What is good exercise that their body would enhance their ability to lose weight more? Does that give you guys a little bit better understanding? And if so, I'm gonna stop sharing just because I can't see your questions as easy, but I can put it back up there if you need. Does anybody have any questions? Nope, nothing? I don't know how long I should wait. God, I felt really close to the screen today. We all good? No questions? Are those blood tests? No, great question. So the DNA is a swab. So you get like a little Q-tip, and they are drop shipping now if anyone's interested. You don't have to actually come see me for me to do it. But you just put it inside your cheek and you kind of go along your gum line, make sure you don't touch your teeth, and you kind of just swab your cheek. Put it in the packet, shipping's taken care of, and the results take a little while. You know, they have, they can sometimes take about a month, sometimes they're a little bit quicker. Genetic direction, the one that I like, they have a contract with 23andMe. So if any of you have done 23andMe, it's cheaper and you don't have to swab. They take the DNA results from 23andMe and run the exercise genomics. Any other questions? Nothing? All right, I hope that provided a little bit more information for patients. If you have any questions, please email me, Dr. Lindsay S. Nelson at gmail.com. This will be posted on my website, drlindsaysnelson.com. Did I say that as my email? It's Gmail. And yeah, still doing consultations, telemedicine, seeing some patients that need face-to-face in my home office treatment room where I give you my lectures each week. Don't know when I'll be at the MAC again, but I hope everyone's doing well, enjoying the sun. Don't know what I'm gonna talk about next week, but it was a pleasure to see all of you guys again. Thank you for attending, especially some of you have been every week. It's nice to see. Take care, everybody.